I can't think of a group that is more toxic to one another than the brother Primarchs of the 40k universe. So naturally, I want to chain them to League of Legends and thinking, what kind of champions would they play? And how would they play them? So I made this list for you guys to disagree with in the comments, just to kind of speculate about what each of their playstyles would be. And for the League fans, it might be a bit difficult to think, what even is a Primarch? You've probably seen or played something like Space Marine 2, or you happen to watch the Astartes cinematic on YouTube, which if you haven't done it, I really recommend it if you want to get into the 40k setting. The regular Space Marines that you usually see are the blue ones, called the Ultramarines. To become a fully fledged Ultramarine, you need to be implanted with an organ called a gene seed, which comes from a gene father, which is one of the 20 Primarchs. Rabute Gilliman, yes, that is his actual name, is the gene father of the Ultramarines. But the other 19 Primarchs also have their own chapters or legions that inherit their gene organ. A Primarch in itself is also a natural born killer, insanely tall, insanely strong, powerful, intellect, yada yada yada. They do everything that a human can, but a whole lot better. That is the quickest description that I can give you of what a Primarch is. That is probably enough knowledge for you to get into the front lines of Warhammer 40k lore. Let's get into it! The Lionel Johnson, Lord of the First, Noble Knight type character. I would imagine him playing very selfish on top lane, and very much preferring duelist heroes like Fiora and Aatrox. For the rest, there's not much to discuss about him because he's just one stoic motherfucker. The Primarch of the Second Legion. The Primarch of the Third Legion, Fulgrim. He would exclusively pick the good-looking mid laners like Ahri and Akali, but he would also play Aurelion Sol just because of his massive, throbbing ego. It is only at the point where he becomes a Demon Primarch that he will pick up Evelynn and start maining her and own all of her skins. I mean, I also almost own all of the skins, but that's not relevant to this story. Perturabo is known as the Siege Master, able to penetrate and destroy whatever fortification exists. He would be a turret pusher, and just main Yorick, Tryndamere, Camille, and Fiora, whatever he needs to get to the turret. He also always pushes while his team is fucking around, so he wins you the game, but he will complain about it the entire way through, no matter the situation. Jagatai Khan of the Fifth is a high-skilled, fast-paced character, so he would play very fast-paced champions too that have a lot of decision-making in the middle of the fight. So Yasuo, Aurelia, Katarina, champions like that, preferably melee, and just adore the glory of being the one to win team fights. Leman Russ, my favorite Primarch, and I am not biased at all. He would play jungle, constantly get into the action, because if he loves anything, it is fighting and violence. Whatever he can do to rush himself into the fight first would be the best choice possible. And of course, for the Space Wolf Legion, the Wolf Warwick fits so perfectly. It is the ideal champion for him. I can't even give him another one. Rogel Dorn is one stubborn motherfucker and kind of the opposite to Perturabo. Where Perturabo is the siege master, Dorn is the defensive wall to hold you back. He would play for late game and he would pick a champion that is tanky and that scales. Like Cho'Gath, Mundo, what was the other one? Or Tahm Kench. Anything he can do to hold you back, he will hold you back. And he just needs to win one team fight to be the deciding factor of swinging right back, pushing through your mid lane and taking everything you got and tearing down your nexus while you're still looking at the gray screen. Conrad Kurz, my personal favorite traitor Primarch and designated piece of shit who is also a fearmonger, a torturer, a terrorist, a nightmare, and I like him a lot. He would play Fiddlesticks and Nocturne, exclusively play jungle, and just be a piece of shit to deal with. Both for you and his own team. Sanguinius the Angel. This man is too perfect to play League of Legends, if I'm completely honest. But if he would play, he has a sense of foresight, so he will predict whichever champion you would most appreciate him playing, and he would do that, and he would do it well. This dude will have a 100% win rate. This dude will talk to a toxic player and actually convince them to like not be toxic anymore. He is a fantastic, perfect little angel. But he would also play Vladimir. Ferrus Manus of the 10th Legion, we know very little about. But we do know that he is one tough as fuck Forge Master, and he doesn't appreciate his own work even though it is literally the coolest shit ever. So of course he wouldn't main Ornn. Would there be any other champions? No, Ornn. Now the Primarch of the 11th Legion. Don't you fucking dare talk about this guy ever fucking again. Number 12, Engrom. This man plays Darius or Yone. He will dive level 1. If it works, great. If it doesn't, he gets angry and quits the game. If it does work, what will happen is you will make a tiny mistake. Like, you will miss one cannon minion because your ally jungle smites it, which pisses you off, but it also pisses Engrom off, so much so that he quits the game. But you guys are 10 kills ahead, and it was almost a guaranteed win. You have 3 dragons, they have 0, and he just leaves. Like, there is no fucking rhyme or reason to it. He just kind of does it for no seeming reason. That piece of shit, and now you're abandoned, and you're gonna lose LP, and it was your promos, and everything sucks. Robute Gilliman. People just meme him a lot. They also meme his chapter for being quite a basic bitch, which I myself understand and kind of agree with, but to some extent I don't think he would play whichever champion is the meta at the moment. I think he would play the champions that are incredibly difficult to play just because of all the extra micromanagement that you have to do. So I would imagine him play Azir, Gangplank or Ryze to really enjoy the game. Now for Mortarion, I am going to be honest with you, I'm very much blanking on Mortarion. Because as a character, he is a gross, petty, selfish piece of shit that holds a grudge for the rest of his life while being increasingly lacking in hygiene. So that's just like a regular League player, so I don't know. Magnus the Red has one big mystery. How has he gotten that title? I really don't know. But otherwise, he is very much a experimentalist. In the lore, he got in trouble for claiming that using newly discovered forms of magic is an asset and not at all incredibly risky and will destroy. So, it is funny to think that for League, he will always insta-lock the newest champion in solo queue without any prior knowledge and just kinda wings it. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. The Primarch of the 16th Legion. First name Horus, second name Heresy. This man has the biggest ego issue for being the first son discovered by his father. And also he has quite the character development, which is a very downward slope, so I'd like to think that he would play Mordekaiser or Viego. Those two are both incredibly full of themselves and also world-ending threats, something that Horus can very much vibe with. Lorgar of the 17th Legion is kind of a self-reserved, sticking to his own books, and very rarely actually doing things for himself. So he would play Yuumi. Vulcan. Now looking at images of Vulcan, you might think, oh wow, this is one real scary motherfucker. But honestly, among the Primarchs, he is by far the kindest. Even his Space Marine chapter is very much known to go through extreme efforts to save the lives of regular human civilians. Something that almost none of the other chapters do. Vulcan would be a support main. Likely Braum, Soraka, or Leona, because he isn't there to get kills, he is there for you. Oh, he also, by the way, never fucking dies in the game. No kills, no deaths, only assists. Corvus Corax is quite an edgelord, but he also really loves stealth, so I think he would just prefer to play champions that can go invisible. But mostly Akshan. Not very much because of his personality or playstyle, but because Corvus Corax would rather be playing Assassin's Creed than League of Legends. Alpharius and Omegon of the 20th Legion. Yes, that's right, there are 2 fucking Primarchs of one Legion. They are twins. And what do they expertise in? Deception. So could you imagine, just for a second, a very highly skilled LeBlanc and Shaco on a bot lane together that are so perfectly in sync with constant bait, deceiving, outplays, and when you even finally get to kill one of them, it is only to distract you from the fact that the other one stole the Drake and is lining up a perfect 3-man gank towards mid lane, which means that the mid laner is going to trash talk you for not pinging anything. This is a nightmare, and I'm already getting headaches from just thinking about it. Alright, that is the end of the video. There are hundreds of champions in League of Legends, so feel free in the comments to add more champions that one of the Primarchs would play. In the last video, people have been incredibly respectful about each other's opinions and pitching new ideas in the comments. I'm very happy it is the way it is, so on that note, I do really want to thank you guys for that. I'll be ending the video on here, so like, subscribe, share my videos if you feel like it. I'm very close to 1,000 subs. It would be very fucking cool to be able to get monetized.